talks with Pakistan to be only on terrorism or PoK. Operation Sindoor is India's new policy against terror, PM Modi. PM Modi said that India has only paused its retaliatory action on Pakistan's terrorist and military infrastructures for now and will be watching the neighboring country closely over the coming days. In a powerful and unequivocal message to Pakistan, Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday declared that Operation Sindoor will be India's new policy on terrorism and asserted that any future talks with the neighbor, if at all, will be limited to terror or Pakistan-Occupied Kashmir. The Prime Minister was addressing the nation for the first time after the success of Operation Sindoor, in which India struck 9 terrorist sites deep inside Pakistan and PoK as retribution for the deadly Pahalgam attack in Jammu Kashmir. In a clear signal that any future act of terror will be met with a crushing response, PM Modi said that India has only paused its retaliatory action for now and will be watching the neighboring country closely over the coming days. In upcoming days, every step taken by Pakistan will be keenly observed based on the approach and conduct it adopts, he said. Terrorists now know consequences of erasing Sindoor. The Prime Minister condemned the brutality of the Pahalgam terror attack and said that Operation Sindoor was a fitting reply and a strong message to terrorists. All of us in the past few days witnessed India's capabilities and patience, PM Modi said at the beginning of speech, praising the Indian Armed Forces, intelligence and spy agencies for Operation Sindoor. Terrorists wouldn't have dreamed that India would take such big steps. When Indian missiles and drones attacked those sites in Pakistan, it was not just the buildings of the terrorists, but also their courage that was thrashed, he added. The Prime Minister said India's forces were given a free hand to eliminate terrorists following the Pahalgam attack, in which 26 people were brutally shot dead. Condemning the dastardly strike, the Prime Minister said that every terrorist now knows the consequences of removing the Sindoor vermilion from the foreheads of the daughters, mothers and sisters of India. The deeply personal tone of the Prime Minister's speech reflected the national grief following the April 22nd terror attack in Pahalgam. Terrorists killed them brutally in front of their family members, their own kids. This was a cruel face of terrorism. This was an attempt to break the nation's resolve. Personally, this was a very tragic incident for me. Dedicating the success of Operation Sindoor to the women of the country, PM Modi said, I dedicate this valor, bravery, courage of armed forces to every mother of our country, to every sister of the country, and to every daughter of the country. Operation Sindoor is not just a name. It is a reflection of the emotions of millions of people in the country. Operation Sindoor is a solemn vow to justice, he said. India's new terror policy. PM Modi said that Operation Sindoor is now India's established policy in the fight against terrorism, in a decisive shift in the country's strategic approach. The Prime Minister outlined 3 pillars of India's new security doctrine. 1. Decisive retaliation. Any terror attack will be met with a strong, targeted response on India's terms. 2. No tolerance for nuclear blackmail. India won't be deterred by nuclear threats. Safe havens will be hit decisively. 3. No distinction between terrorists and their sponsors. States that shelter terrorists will be treated as complicit. The Prime Minister signaled that India's new terror policy will not be restricted by past caution. Pakistan wanted to attack our borders, but India struck at Pakistan's heart, he said, adding that the neighboring country's drones and missiles were blown to smithereens before India's might. Terror hubs such as Bahawalpur and Muridke were global terror universities, he said, linking them to major attacks worldwide, including 1990, 11 attacks of US, the London Tube bombings, and decades of terrorist incidents in India. Modi said that India's precise and forceful strikes left Pakistan in deep frustration, pushing it into desperation. In its agitation, Pakistan resorted to a reckless act instead of joining the global fight against terrorism. It launched attacks on Indian schools, colleges, gurudwaras, temples, and civilian homes, also targeting military bases, he added. PM Modi also said that during India's retaliation, the world witnessed Pakistan's disturbing reality, pointing to senior Pakistani military officials openly attending funerals of terrorists killed in the strikes. The Prime Minister said within just 3 days of India's response, Pakistan suffered destruction far beyond its expectations. Following India's aggressive countermeasures, Pakistan began seeking ways to de-escalate, appealing to the global community for relief from rising tensions. Pakistan's military reached out to India's DGMO on the afternoon of May 10th. It assured that it would cease all terrorist activities and military aggression against India, Modi said. He added that India reviewed the situation and decided to temporarily suspend Operation Sindoor against Pakistan following their appeal. Talks now only on PoK terror. The Prime Minister also ruled out any talks with Pakistan until it stops all terror activities against the Indian territory. The statement effectively contradicted claims by the Trump administration in US that the two countries have agreed to hold talks on a broad set of issues in a neutral country. PM Modi made it clear that terror and talks or terror and trade cannot go hand in hand. Water and blood can't flow together, he said, reiterating India's policy of zero tolerance on terror. We will give befitting reply to terrorists and strike at roots of terror. Terrorist attack on India will have to face a befitting reply, and the response will be on our terms, PM Modi said. In a message to the global community, PM Modi said that any discussions with Pakistan will focus solely on terrorism, and any negotiations with the neighboring country will center around Pakistan-Occupied Kashmir.